Reunion nights always carried a strange weight. 10 years after graduation, walking back into the same campus halls where we once laughed, dreamed, and thought life was simple, it felt like stepping into a memory. Everyone was older, more polished, and yet beneath the suits, dresses, and forced smiles, we were all still the same people searching for validation from old classmates. My wife, Aisha, had been more excited about this farewell party than I was. She spent weeks choosing her dress, planning her makeup, and reconnecting with old friends through social media. I chalked it up to nostalgia. She had always been more socially connected, while I preferred staying in the background. The banquet hall glittered with fairy lights strung across the ceiling. Music pulsed softly, glasses clinked, and the air smelled of perfume and expensive whiskey. I walked in holding Aisha's hand, but it was clear from the start she wasn't here for me. Her eyes scanned the crowd, searching, hungry, until they landed on a man standing near the bar. Rizwan. I hadn't seen him in years, but the sight of his smug smile told me everything. He had been the campus flirt, the guy every girl whispered about. Back then, Aisha always dismissed him, saying he was just trouble. But that night, the way she lit up at the sight of him, it was the kind of look a wife should never reserve for another man. Throughout the evening, I tried to ignore it. She excused herself for catching up with friends, only to spend long stretches laughing near Rizwan. Their whispers bent too close. Their smiles lingered too long. And then came the careless slips, her hand brushing his arm, his eyes tracing her in ways that didn't belong in public. I wanted to believe it was just old friends reconnecting. But betrayal has a way of revealing itself if you stand still long enough. The breaking point came during the slideshow. Someone had prepared a video montage of our college days. Photos, group shots, random memories. People clapped, laughed, shouted out jokes. And then the hall fell eerily silent. The screen flickered, and suddenly a picture appeared. It wasn't just any picture. It was Aisha and Rizwan. Not from college, but recent. The two of them at a hotel restaurant, sitting far too close, his arm around her waist, her lips against his cheek. The date stamp glowed at the corner. Only 2 weeks ago. The crowd gasped. Whispering spread like wildfire. Some laughed nervously. Others looked away. But everyone understood what they were seeing. Aisha froze, her face drained of color. Rizwan tried to stand tall, but his smirk faltered. I sat there, my fists clenched, my heart hammering loud enough that I could barely hear the murmurs around me. Care to explain? I asked, my voice cutting through the silence like a knife. She stammered. It's not what it looks like. But the evidence glared at her from the screen for everyone to see. More photos followed. Different angles, different days. Whoever had put this together knew exactly what they were doing. One of my classmates muttered, "Damn, she brought her husband here while sneaking around with Rizwan? That's cold." I stood. My voice didn't rise, but the weight of it carried. All these years, I thought betrayal was something strangers did. Never imagined it would wear the face I trusted most. She reached for me, desperation in her eyes. "Please, let me explain." I pulled my hand away. "Explain what?" "That you came here not to celebrate our past, but to flaunt your secret in front of everyone? That while I believed in us, you were busy revisiting old mistakes." The room stayed silent. Nobody rushed to defend her. Nobody excused it as a misunderstanding. Because the truth was plain, flashing across a projector for everyone to see. Rizwan, sensing the weight of judgment, tried to laugh it off. "Come on, man, don't make this a scene. It's just a fling." That word, fling, snapped something inside me. "You call it a fling," I said, stepping toward him. "But that's my marriage. That's my trust. That's my life you both decided was worth nothing." Security stepped in before it could escalate further, but the damage was done. The farewell party was no longer a celebration. It had turned into the stage where my wife's betrayal was broadcast to every single person who once thought we were the perfect couple. By the end of the night, Aisha was in tears, trying to calm me, trying to beg me to understand. But the image of her with him was burned into me, and no amount of words could erase the humiliation of watching my marriage collapse under the glow of a projector screen. while our classmates watched in silence. That farewell wasn't just the end of our college reunion. It was a farewell to the woman I thought I knew. The drive home that night felt like the longest road I'd ever taken. Aisha sat beside me in silence, her makeup smeared with tears, her voice broken from pleading. But I didn't say a word. The only sounds were the tires against the asphalt and the hum of the engine. Every time I gripped the steering wheel, I remembered Rizwan's smirk. Every glance at her trembling hands brought back the flashing slideshow, the gasps, the whispers, the shame. When we finally stepped inside the house, the silence followed us. She dropped her purse on the sofa and tried to close the gap between us. "Please, listen to me," she whispered. I took off my coat, not looking at her. "I listened tonight. I heard enough. No, it's not like that. It wasn't what everyone thinks." Her voice cracked, desperate. I turned, finally meeting her eyes. "Then tell me what it was. Because those pictures didn't take themselves. Those moments didn't just happen. You looked happy with him. Aisha, happier than you've looked with me in years." She flinched like I had struck her. It was a mistake. She swallowed and admitted. "It started a few months ago. We reconnected online. I didn't plan for it to go this far." The confession hit me harder than the pictures. My chest tightened, my breathing heavy. "So, while I sat across from you at dinner, talking about work, talking about us, you were already sneaking messages with him?" Tears spilled down her face. "I was lonely. You're always busy. I didn't mean to." I cut her off. "Don't blame this on me." My voice rose, finally breaking the calm I had forced all evening. "You could have told me you were unhappy. You could have said anything. Instead, you chose him. Behind my back. And you thought I'd never find out." She sank onto the couch, sobbing. "I swear I was going to end it. Tonight was supposed to be closure." "Closure?" I laughed bitterly. "You dressed up for him, not for me. You smiled at him like I don't exist. And now you want me to believe tonight was about closure?" Her sobs grew louder, but I felt nothing. Not pity, not anger anymore. Just emptiness. News of what happened at the reunion spread fast. Old classmates messaged me with pity, some with cruel amusement. At work, I caught whispers, sympathetic glances. My humiliation wasn't confined to that hall. It followed me everywhere. Aisha tried to salvage what she could. She cooked dinners, left apologies on sticky notes, begged me to talk. But every word she said sounded hollow. Because once trust breaks, every gesture feels staged, every tear rehearsed. One evening, she cornered me in the kitchen. "Please," she begged, grabbing my arm. "Don't throw everything away. We've built a life together. We can fix this. We can go to counseling." I pulled my arm free. "You should have thought about fixing things before lying to me, before letting another man into your life." Her face twisted in frustration. "So that's it? You won't even try." "Try." I snapped. "I tried every day of our marriage. You're the one who stopped trying the moment Rizwan messaged you." For the first time, anger flared in her eyes. "You think you're perfect? You were never really there for me. You worked late. You shut me out. I was lonely. What was I supposed to do?" I stared at her in disbelief. "You were supposed to be faithful. That's what marriage means. Not running to the first man who makes you feel alive again." Her anger collapsed into tears again. She knew she had no defense left. The final straw came 2 weeks later. I found her phone buzzing late at night. Against my better judgment, I looked, and there it was, messages from Rizwan. "Wish we could have had more time that night. He'll calm down. He always does." And worst of all, her reply, "I don't know. He's distant. But I can't stop thinking about you." My hand shook. My stomach twisted. It wasn't over for her. Not even after the public exposure. Not after all the tears and begging. When she woke the next morning, I was waiting at the table with the phone in front of me. Her face drained as she realized what I'd seen. "No, it's not." "Stop," I said coldly. "No more lies. You had a chance to come clean. You chose to keep him. So now you lose me." She reached for me, sobbing, "Please don't do this." But I stood and walked away. I packed a bag that night, and as I zipped it shut, I realized something. I wasn't just leaving the house. I was leaving the version of myself who tolerated betrayal in the name of love. The divorce papers came months later. She signed them with trembling hands, tears smudging the ink. I didn't attend. I heard through mutual friends that Rizwan lost interest soon after, once the thrill of secrecy was gone. So was he. Aisha was left with nothing but regret. As for me, the farewell party that was supposed to celebrate old memories instead ripped away my illusions. It exposed not just a betrayal, but the truth about love. It survives only when both people choose it, every single day. And she chose otherwise. So I chose myself.